Hello, Soul Fam. I am tuning in here with another transmission for the collective that's coming in loud and clear. If you've landed here, this message is for the conscious creators. You are being called to play in a totally different way. This has been coming through so much right now, and I can attest to this because this has been really, I really just... I'm looking at the sky right now and it's really gray. So I'm out here in beautiful South Lake Tahoe. For those of you who are new here, I've been nomadic traveling with my fur babies, and we're in Lake Tahoe now for an undefined amount of time, and it looks like it's gonna rain here. I just feel I felt a sprinkle, so I'm gonna try to make this message as concise as possible, but I also know that when I start channeling, I loop and I go on my rant, and so that's just what might happen here. So this is for the conscious creators that are here to play and create in the 5D. Your inner child wants to play. You're being called to get out of the confinement of the way you're always doing things, the way you're always creating, the way you're always showing up, it may feel very restrictive, it may feel very confining. Even things that used to really light you up and be super aligned for you may not feel that way anymore. I know I can attest to this. This is why I packed up all my stuff and put it in storage and hit the road with my fur babies and started to travel to a destination unknown for an undefined amount of time, and just follow the fun and follow the joy and follow the follow what feels good, and just go on an adventure with the divine and see where it takes me. And this inner child wonder is calling you. If this message I just felt a sprinkle on my cheek. If this message found you and this is resonating, then it's for you. There's a huge wave of the collective moving into creating their new earth timeline, their heaven on earth, the version of reality that really truly lights you up on a soul level. Your version of what I refer to as soul aligned success. I'm getting full body chills right now. And it's going to require that you get out of your comfort zone. It's going to require that you make different decisions. It's going to require that you trust and surrender to what your heart already knows and what your heart is calling you to express. So any of the judgments, really what this is it's a loosening of all of your attachments of how you think things should be and how you've been operating thus far, and releasing the fear of judgment of what happens if you start to do things differently or you decide differently, or you are allowed to pivot. This was coming through too. You are allowed to pivot. You are allowed to choose right here, right now, what is in alignment with your heart's knowing. And there is a calling inside you right now, this inner child that wants to play and just play in the wonder and the magic of life. It's calling you to live a life that truly lights you up and is fully alive within you, right? The sense of aliveness, the sense of play, the sense of creation, the sense of being fully expressed. And this is going to require that you follow that authentic call. You're not going to be able to wear a mask and continue to create reality from the way you think things should be, or the way you've been told things should be, or the way you've been conditioned to think things should be. You get to write a whole new script right now. You are literally this is like a fresh slate. Don't underestimate the energy that we're in right now. We just had the new moon in Gemini, and we're moving into the summer solstice. For those of you that are resonating this, that are first wave new earth human, or maybe you're resonating with this and you're still going through a lot of turbulence, and you still don't have a clear footing or a clear signal of what's going on, and you're stuck in what I call that, you're looping in that liminal space, the void, sacred void. That is part of this process as well. If you've landed here and you're resonating with this, is because you're on the new earth timeline. And there is a wave of the collective right now that is fully stepping into leading this new earth through your authentic expression, which means you're going to have to choose differently. You're going to have to get out of your comfort zone, and there's a releasing of all of the attachments of the way things were and what is possible for you. Like literally, the other thing, there's a dust storm. Woo! Okay, we still have time, I feel. It's not raining yet. There's just this energy of it's becoming it's no longer just like calling you. It's now becoming unbearable for you to stay in your old pattern and in the old way of creating and in the old way of doing things. It's becoming painful even. And that's because your soul is calling you for more. You are here for more. You're destined for greatness. You're here to lead. I know who I speak to. I speak to those that are here to impact millions through your authentic expression. And whether that is directly or indirectly, whether it's face-to-face or through your music or through your poetry or through your photography or through your art or through helping others, and then they in turn go and help others. You are here to cause I used to say a ripple in the pond of awakening, but no, I'm speaking to the leaders that are here to make waves. You are here to make waves. You know this. I'm speaking to those that have always known in their heart they're here for a very big mission that is on their heart. You've not been able to escape this, even when you tried. You may resonate as a starseed. Most likely you do if you've landed here. And for this particular message, you have grown through the muck. You are the lotus flower now. You have grown through the mud, and you're here to now shine. You're here to now expand beyond the psychological borders of the mind and what you believe to be is possible for you. You are here to choose differently, and this requires a level of trust and faith which you have been cultivating along this earthly experience, or you wouldn't be resonating with this now. And you don't need to cling to that identity anymore. The one that survived, this is key. The one that survived, the one that made it, the one that alchemized everything, the one that suffered and persevered. That identity served you well, but it's time to let her go. It doesn't mean you don't honor her, but she no longer has to be part of the storyline. You literally get to start with a whole fresh slate, as if you never had to go through severe traumas and dramas and abandonment and lack and scarcity and all the things. You are here born anew. You are here born anew. It's a fresh slate. It's a fresh start. You get to choose now. Everything in the past no longer has power over you unless you give it power over you. Nothing has meaning unless you give it meaning. And clinging to the old identity that got you here is not going to help you step into your higher timeline, because it's not an identity per se that steps into your highest timeline. It's the truth of who and what you are fully expressed, which is not an identity. Even though you can play whatever identity you want, you can put on the costume and play whatever identity you want when you're living in truth as the aliveness that you are. But you are prior to identity. You are prior to language. You are prior to concepts. You are prior to the world of form. You are all of this, and you are the creation. You are the uncreated, infinite life force, creative life force energy that is the fabric of all existence, and you are also the form. You are simultaneously all of this. I did a big transmission on this today in Embody the Empress. If this is resonating with you and you want weekly calibrations and support to help you step into your magnetic feminine power, your divine feminine power, your sovereignty, then check out Embody the Empress wherever you're listening to this. You can find it on divinefemme.co, or you can check out the link wherever you're listening to this. That's just a shameless plug for Embody the Empress, because it gets massive results for the women that join that, and I have no problem sharing all of my divine creations because I know that they are divinely guided, and right down to the podcast, the YouTube transmissions, the writings, the posts, the containers, the coaching, the mentorship, all of it is all divinely created. And you also have divine creations on your heart that are worthy of being seen and heard and divinely compensated for. You have to own that and claim that, because I know if you're listening to this, you want to play and create in 5D, and you want to be divinely compensated for your gifts, your genius, your magic, and that means you have to fully own it. You can no longer dismiss it. You cannot hide from it. I've been working with spiritual entrepreneurs for years, and that's the number one thing that they need to get over, is the fact that they are not worthy of receiving for their divine gifts and their divine genius. And that is 100% bullshit. It's a lie. It's not true. You are here to be divinely compensated for doing what you love, and to be divinely compensated for being you and the authentic expression of you, which requires you be the authentic expression of you. So You will not be divinely compensated if you are running around wearing a mask and trying to compartmentalize yourself and put yourself into boxes and try to make yourself more palatable or more digestible for people, or trying to create something based on what somebody else you might think somebody else wants. No, this is one of the core teachings I've always taught with my spiritual entrepreneurs, is that what you already want to create on your heart is already a divine match for those that are meant to receive it. They're actually calling it through you. It is the collective calling it through you, and those souls that are meant to experience your magic are calling it through you, or you wouldn't have it in your heart. So your soulmate clients are already there. They're already waiting for you to show up in your highest expression, the creations on your heart. But you're being guided to play this game differently now, and to be fully anchored in the body, fully regulated in the vessel, fully open as a channel and emptied as a channel, which this journey has done a very good job of humbling you and emptying you, has it not? Releasing the attachments, has it not? And that is because God empties you before you are used as a channel and vessel of the divine. And as you accept this, and as you realize that your creations are divine, and all you have to do, I didn't even know what I was going to share on this message. And do you know what's so interesting? I'll just be fully transparent with you. Half the time I record some of these things, I think that they are shit after I don't even listen to them. Because I think, like, God, was that even good? Should I even post that? And it's exactly what resonates with so many of you. And then it's not like I need the validation or the feedback. I just trust and know that whatever is coming through me when I am anchored and dropped into my flow, I know is exactly what somebody else needs to hear now. And I've only seen that because it is reflected back, right? It like half the time, I'm not even sure what the hell's coming out of my mouth, let alone after I'm done recording. I don't even know what's happening, like with the recording. And so I don't re-listen to them, or my mind will go into critical mode and maybe like try to dissect it or perfect it. Or this is just a little side note for those that are channelers like this, that where you're meant to be expressing, you're meant to be sharing, you're meant to be speaking. There's something here with the voice coming through. You're meant to be speaking, you're meant to be sharing, but you need to trust what's coming through. This is why it's called, my podcast, The Calling Uncensored, because I was like, there's so many podcast episodes and YouTube videos that have such shitty sound quality. And that's because sometimes I film things on the fly. Sometimes I film, like, I don't have a mic right now. I don't know what the sound quality is going to be, and I'm not opposed to having good sound quality, but I film so many things in the moment that I don't have time to always plan and have like a setup and have like a sound quality and audio and all that kind of stuff. And so there's some messages that have come through when I was in the deepest dark night of the soul, and I refuse to listen to them, and my voice sounds all cracky, and I sound like I'm like completely like just waking up. And some of the time I was just waking up when I recorded a lot of my podcast episodes, because that's when divine downloads would hit, is like the second I wake up. I'm very clairaudient and I can hear things, and so I would just hit record on my phone with no special equipment, and that would turn into a podcast episode. And if you scroll through some of my playlists, especially the Divine Feminine Rising Collective playlists, I think that's the title of it. It's the one with the floral backgrounds and the words on it. That's for those that are really going through like their abandonment wounds, or being like wide open, right? You've been triggered on this journey, and you're going deep into the feminine shadow, and you're doing a lot of alchemy. Like, a lot of those episodes like resonate with so many. I would be getting comments from all over the world, and people even just last week reached out and said, oh my God, I love your podcast. It's been rated one of the highest podcasts as far as spiritual visionary leadership. And I'm literally recording these from my phone with a cracky voice, waking up with like no audio equipment. So this whole idea of perfection, in order to make an impact, in order to be a channel, in order to be the source, allow source to channel through you, because you are source, we are all source, expressing, we're all one, expressing as many. And that's part of the illusion, but that's part of the game too. This whole idea that you need to be perfect before you can hit record, or before you can hit play, or before you can create something is bullshit. That's your ego keeping you stuck. That's why I created The Calling Uncensored. And here's the other thing that popped up right before I hit record on this that I wanted to share, because these messages kind of trickle in and I'm just remembering this. The Calling Uncensored didn't come to me, or I didn't create The Calling Uncensored. It came to me. It actually came to me in a very deep moment of despair, when I was like having a little like coming to Jesus moment, and I was like, F this. I don't even know if this is working. I don't even know who's listening to me. I don't know if this is even making an impact, God. Like, F this shit, I'm quit. And as I did that, and I had my little pity party for about 3 minutes, I heard the Calling Uncensored, and I was just like, ping, podcast. And like within like 3 minutes, like I literally had the original cover photo and my podcast started. And I was like right back in the game, right? After I had my little pity party. And to be honest, the same thing happened with Divine Femme. Divine Femme was born out of the ashes, like my darkest moment. This was right after I literally fled for my life from a narcissistic, abusive relationship. And when I finally got back to my place where I thought I was finally safe, I sat on the couch and I was like literally in prayer, and I was like, what the F just happened? Lord, please show me the higher meaning for this. And all I heard was Divine Femme. I didn't know fully all of what that meant at the time. I was already well into sharing and teaching and channeling and teaching about feminine and masculine energy and things like that, but I had just gone through a major effing, like, boom, you talk about every, like, and it got worse before it got better after that, but that's when Divine Femme was born. And it was massive rebirth and transformation, and I was at the deepest, darkest moments, like literally with bruises, like literally when I heard Divine Femme. And I guess the reason I'm sharing this is to share part of my more authentic story, a lot of things that have happened behind the scenes. And I share pieces of this on podcast and with clients and in my, memberships and stuff like that. But the one thing that has always been my motto as I have been initiated on this journey very consciously in 2014 is that everything gets used for good. Everything I go through gets used for good, and I surrendered to God using my life as an example, and everything gets used for good. That means everything that I've grown through, everything that I've alchemized, everything that I've experienced, everything that I have been able to overcome and thrive beyond, which I can say fully that I am thriving beyond a childhood of like domestic violence and then going into toxic relationships and having a narcissistic abusive partner and all the things. That was all part of this soul's alchemy that needed to take place in order to fully walk the path, understand it, clear all my karmic shit, and break the cycle, which I know you are a cycle breaker as well. And everything gets used for good. And if you're still here with me, you may be at different phases of this. You may still be going through a lot of that turbulent transformation and death and rebirth process, and you may be tipping into your highest new earth timeline, and things maybe not be making 100% sense, but the message for you that's coming in clearly is it's time to get really clear and discerning on what it is you're actually available for, declaring it and claiming it with conviction from the truth of who and what you are. You are no longer those things that you alchemized and went through. You can let that go now. It's not a part of it has no hold over you unless you give it power over you, and you don't even need to continue to reference that identity anymore. It got you to where you are now, which is a powerful effing being and an alchemist. And now it's time to really just be able to manipulate energy at the highest level and create the reality that you are here to live as an example. This is your medicine now. So congratulations, because the hard part is over. You literally can release it now. You can surrender all of that noise. Like, you don't have to hold on to it. You don't have to reference it in your mind. You don't have to go back to it. It's done. I just shared it very openly, pieces of it, but there's no emotional attachment to it. Like, it doesn't define the truth of who and what I am and what is possible. Everything that I've grown through from the time I was very little, which has been very dysfunctional and turbulent and toxic in many, many ways, including my own health journey and all the things, I've thrived beyond it. I'm not saying this to gloat. I'm saying this because this is what is possible when you do not allow your past conditioning to dictate what is possible for you. You are not that conditioning, you're not that past. So the message here is you don't have to continue to even reference that identity. You get to now tap into that inner child, playfulness and wonder that has been suppressed and repressed for decades, and you get to play and create. You get to be born anew, right? This is your rebirth. You are born anew with childlike innocence, right? That is playful, that is wonder, that is magic, that is aliveness, that is imagination and dreaming, and also sacred masculine energy now, because you are integrated within, and so you can take that masculine energy that helps move it forward when you're guided, without force, without efforting, without trying to figure it out. It's just the natural byproduct of you being in alignment with your inner feminine and masculine. Your feminine receives, your masculine takes the action. You are now able to lock into a very healthy cycle of feminine, masculine, receiving, action, creation, receiving. You're receiving the downloads, you're taking the action, the creation is forming, and then you're receiving the byproduct of that. Yes, you get to open to receive now. Abundance, love, prosperity, connections, partnerships, relationships, all of the above. Because your masculine energy now is something that allows you to feel safe, because you have your masculine has your back, your inner masculine has your back. And now, because your inner masculine has your back and your feminine can trust your inner masculine, guess what shows up in the 3D world? When you fully step forward and take the courageous actions that you know you're being guided to take right now, to get out of your comfort zone and fucking take that leap of faith that you know your soul is guiding you to take, guess what shows up? Masculine support, masculine structure, masculine opportunities, masculine collaborations or partnerships, masculine clients, masculine money, masculine counterparts. Like, that's all a form of masculine energy, right? Your business is a masculine energy. Money is a masculine energy. Men showing up in your reality, or women, doesn't matter. It's not gender specific. It's a masculine energy. Support, structure, foundation, a sense of groundedness, all masculine energy. So I know this message is all over the place because we're talking about a lot of different things, but I trust and know that whoever's meant to hear is going to resonate with maybe all of this or part of this. Yeah. You're not going to be able to stay in your comfort zone anymore. Your comfort zone is not your friend. You're not going to be able to self-abandon. You're not going to be able to compromise, settle, or sell yourself short in any way and live like, I don't want to use the word comfortable, and live a satisfactory experience. It's going to get I can't say that word right now. I think I mentioned this earlier. It's not even like, it's painful now. It's excruciating. It's painful for you to stay in whatever caged situation, environment, or circumstance that you know you're caged in, or that you already know has outgrown what your soul is here to expand into. And so for myself, I realized that it became very clear when everything was also falling away and also crumbling, and even though everything looked even good from the outside, like living in North Scottsdale and going to a luxury gym and like going to the dance classes and all the things, there was something that was off. My soul was calling to travel. My soul was calling to smell the lake and see the trees and be on an adventure with my fur babies and embrace this wild, free spirit that, that I've been talking about doing for years, but I always had a reason not to. And it's going to look different for everybody, but I know who I'm speaking to. I'm speaking to those that are here to live wildly free and deeply embodied and fully expressed on your terms. You're not here to grind it out and hustle your life away. You're here to play and create in the 5D. You're here to lead New Earth through your authentic expression, which means you're going to have to be authentic, which means you're going to have to be honest with yourself. And honesty with yourself and then with others, honesty is going to be your best medicine, because when you can no longer lie to yourself and you can no longer tell yourself stories, you stop negotiating with fear, you stop negotiating with doubt. When you can no longer lie to yourself, when you get radically honest with yourself, it becomes crystal clear where you're still compromising, sacrificing, or settling, or self-abandoning. And then that awareness, it's not like the whole path is going to unfold magically. That's the other thing. It's like that awareness is like, okay, Show me what's show me what's not working, God. Show me, like, bring it, shut up. This is very powerful. And I actually don't recommend you do this unless you are ready to step into your highest timeline and you are ready. I mean, I do it all the time. I'm just saying not everybody's as fucking crazy as I am and are willing to take such big leaps of faith, because I've been taking leaps of faith my whole life, and especially since my 2014 initiation, when I basically surrendered my entire life to the divine and said, full permission to restructure everything that's out of alignment, and I had no clue what that meant. And as I said it, like, I go into this like it was a huge initiation, and I just heard 3 loud bells in the empty room that I was in as I completely surrendered, with so much anxiety in my chest and fear, because I didn't know what I was surrendering to, but I knew my life was going to change in massive ways, and I knew like a lot of shit was going to hit the fan intuitively, but I didn't know what. But I trusted that God had a plan that was bigger than anything I could experience, and that I was willing to completely surrender and let it be used as an example. And so everything gets used for good on this journey. I'm talking to the way showers. I'm talking to the light leaders that are here to lead New Earth. Everything gets used for good. And so for a long time, you've been the example of the cycle breaker, of the one who chooses truth over fear, of the one who has a high level of integrity and will not sell herself short, and of the one that has grown through the abandonment or the abuse or the betrayal and all the things. You've been an example of that. You've been an example of the one who thrives, the one who, like, not just survives but thrives beyond what would break a lot of people. And you formed that level of strength and resilience and courage and strength and humility and everything that came along with that, which is ingrained in you now. And you can be grateful for that. But that phase of your life is over. It's done. You choose it now. It is done. You have a fresh slate, a new start. It's not even like a chapter. It's like life before this moment, life after this moment, the moment you choose it, and you no longer reference your conditioning or your past as if that is some kind of barometer for what is possible for you. Because now it's time for you to be a living transmission and example of what it looks like and what it feels like and what is possible when you choose your heart and what your soul knows over fear, over logic, even over societal expectations, over conditioning, over program, over the peanut gallery's opinions of what your life should be or how you should live it or what you should create or what you should do or how you should be or how you should show up. Now you get to be a living example of truth, of freedom, of divine love, of abundance, of prosperity, of beauty, of luxury, of richness, a life so rich in so many ways beyond what money can buy. And yes, it also includes abundance and prosperity in the physical reality as well. You get to be an example of that. You get to be an example of divine feminine ease and flow and leisure and a life of pleasure and joy and fun and freedom, and living a life that truly feels like yours, truly feels alive, truly lights you up. A life that is so expressed through you, because you are not separate from life. You are all of this, and you're here to play and be the conduit for it to express through you. You are the infinite intelligence that is the fabric of life, and you are the creation, the world of form. You are simultaneously both. And you get to be this focusing mechanism that now gets to create beyond the limits of what you've ever known was ever possible for you. Everything you ever thought about what was possible for you is just a little, like, it's beyond what the mind can even fathom right now, but it's going to require that you show up for yourself, you show up in your truth, you show up authentically, you take the courageous actions that you're being guided to take, you stop settling, you stop compromising, you stop self-abandoning, you choose yourself unequivocally. And you lock in. It's time to lock in. It's time to lock into what your soul knows and stop negotiating with fear. I really like this spot. I think I might do more films here, for more episodes here. And I like the fact that it's not super hot out right today because I didn't want the sun beating down. It's been a cloudy day. Let me see if you can see this. It's gorgeous out even though it's like about to storm. I feel like it's about to storm. I did feel a little sprinkle. Maybe it's not going to storm, but it's gorgeous. What else wants to come through? You're being called to create differently. Create, not consume. Don't underestimate the power of the week that you're finding this. If this finds you, it's a timeless message. But right now, at the time of this message, as we move into the summer solstice in a few days, the energy is already here. This is a reset. There is a whole new life available to you now. I feel like this is crooked. My Libra that needs everything balanced is like kicking in. Okay. There was something else I wanted to come through. Just when you're so still and you just take in the scenery and you just breathe and you just realize that this is so good. This is so good. Nothing has unfolded the way I thought it was going to unfold as I set out on this adventure. I think that's something to note as well, because for a long time my mind was figuring out how to go on and just be more adventurous and be with my fur babies and be in nature and all the things, and how to juggle like jobs, careers, like leases and random things like that. And somehow it's all worked out, like literally. Oh, this is what I was going to share that I just skipped over, and I'm circling back because it just got pinged. I don't recommend this unless you are a fearless soul, and I think I feel like I'm speaking to a fearless soul, and I already know. I mean, I'm not going to try to I'm not going to instill any fear. I'm just saying that like most people don't say this because they're afraid of the unknown. But really, you got to embrace the unknown in order to dance with duality in the 5D. And so here's a little homework if you're up for it. And that is, before you lay your head down tonight, before you go to sleep, I know that you may have things in your life that are misaligned. You may consciously already be aware of what those are, or maybe you're denying it. But if you are sincere and coming from the heart, and you pray, God, please shut the doors that are no longer in alignment with my highest and greatest good and the good of all. Shut all doors immediately. Let it be clear that those paths are not my highest alignment, and open the doors that are. And then know that that is done. Your life will be rearranged very quickly. And again, things that you may be attached to that are not in alignment will fall away. And that's why not very many souls will say this, because you have to be a fearless soul to let this be your prayer. I've done this for many years. I've done this twice within the last 60 days. And both times, within hours. One time within minutes. Actually, it wasn't 2 months. I did this once in September of 2025 and once in March of 2026. So there you go. 2 times within the last, I don't know, whatever that is, 8 months. At when I could start to feel something was out of alignment, and I already kind of knew what it was, and I just asked, or prayed, not begging or anything like that. I did the same prayer I just gave you. And there's a willingness there. This is key. There's a willingness to surrender it. There's a willingness to let go. There's a willingness to allow the divine to orchestrate on your behalf. Very powerful. I'm getting full body chills right now. The first time I did it in September of 2025, it took 30 seconds for the door to shut, if that. The time in March of 2026, I went to bed knowing it was finished and literally said, it is finished, just like Joshua says in the Bible, it is finished, it was done, I just knew it. Funny thing enough, I also said, because I was transitioning out of a consulting gig and I didn't feel like my time was being valued. And so I said that prayer and I said, you know, shut all doors that are not in alignment and compensate me for my time, because I know I'm worthy of that, because I wasn't feeling like the time that I was putting into this consulting offer was reflecting back what I deserve. And so I got really clear and drew a line in the sand, an energetic line in the sand of what I was available. And I got very clear. That's the other thing that I didn't mention yet. You know, getting very clear is important now. Choosing, consciously discerning and declaring what you're available for and getting really effing clear, because you can create whatever reality you want. I'll talk about that in a second if I remember. If not, it'll be a different video. I woke up the next morning, had a meeting with the client, and within like 30 seconds, we had this conversation that she was not planning to have, and I'm just literally watching it unfold. Like, it was like in and out, 5 minutes. We parted ways and she cut me a check. Exactly what I had prayed for. I went to bed knowing it was finished and it was done. God had shut the door for me. I had been compensated for my time, and I prayed to also open the doors that are in most the highest alignment. Now, when you pray for the doors to open that are in the most highest alignment, there's one thing that I will share with you. This is often when the simulation will reflect back to you what you are projecting at the moment, right? So it may reflect back parts of the old identity. So for example, it's like when you call in a relationship and then a relationship shows up like same day or the very next day. Like, I've had that happen as well, like multiple times. Like, okay, I'm ready to go on and I'm ready to meet new people, and then literally I get like asked out like twice at the pool in Whole Foods, like same day. You know what I mean? Like random stuff like that. It will reflect back to you the old identity oftentimes. So this is so you can get really discerning and choose again, right? So for example, when that door was shut, I immediately received like literally a text message with an offer and an opportunity that was exactly like the one I just walked away from. And it was like represented the old identity, and I didn't take the bait. This is important. It's just like when you call and you say you're open to connecting with new people, and then all of a sudden a new relationship or a connection or something like that, and then boom, you attract someone that's like represents the old identity. This is so you can consciously choose and discern. You see it as feedback. Not everything that pops in that's a synchronicity, you know, like that means it's alignment. Oftentimes it's for you to choose again and get discerning. So you should get very, very comfortable with sending things back to the kitchen. So this is fun. We might end it here because I think I'll shoot another video on clarity or getting clear, but maybe, no, this will make sense here. I'm gonna wrap it up though soon because I do think it's gonna storm. Okay, what was I saying? What the hell was I saying? I'm distracted. Oh yeah, sending it back to the kitchen. When you receive something, and if it's not like totally in alignment with what you actually want, send it back. Be like, thank you, I recognize this, but that's not in alignment, and you send it back. You say no. You say no. You walk away from things that are not at the standard that you are elevating to. You elevate your standards. When you start to elevate your standards, you're still going to call in things from the old identity, and you can be like, yeah, no, that's not alignment. You got to say no. You got to send it back to the kitchen. So when I say send it back to the kitchen, it's like you're at a restaurant and you're ordering from a menu. If you order something, you order chicken and they bring you steak, you send that shit back. That's not what I asked for. I don't care if they send you if you ordered steak and they sent you a steak, but it's medium rare and you wanted medium. I know that's a bad example, but maybe it's a good example for some. You send that shit back. You get exactly what you want. You send that shit back. You're not here to settle. You're not here to compromise. You can have whatever you want, but you got to be willing to send it back if it's not in alignment. You got to be willing to say no to what's not a hell yes. it's not a hell yes, you say no. This is why you get clear. This is how you have discernment. This is the action that needs to be taken. And oftentimes there's a fear of loss there when you say no. Oh, well, I just called in connection. What if I say no to this? There's not going to be another one. Or, oh, this job opportunity came in. If I say no to this, there's not going to be a better one, or blah, blah, blah. I said that, for example, with multi-six-figure contracts. That's what I was calling in. I literally had a recruiter out of the blue send me invitations for multi-six-figure contracts. But at the end of the day, it wasn't for what really lit me up, and I didn't want to get sucked into some like corporate environment. So I said no, because it doesn't align with what my energy is. I'd much rather be playing and creating in the 5D and hosting beautiful Wild Femme Immersions in Lake Tahoe with you beautiful souls that want to come out and visit, right? Like, that sounds more fun. My containers sound more fun. So I called in something else that I was very, very specific on, and I got exactly that, like literally the next day. And I'll share more about that in another episode, or I don't necessarily need to, but like when I said no to the multi-six-figure contracting offers from a recruiter that just magically found me and started sending me all these like lucrative opportunities, and I said no, I called in the other opportunity. I said no, I want something more that balances. You know, I want other consulting offers, and I want to like, you know, be traveling remote and have a lot of time freedom and hosting my immersions and my membership calls and doing my thing and doing things like this, creating and playing and having fun. And so I got really clear on that, and the next day it came in not a little bit aligned, it came in to a T aligned, because I'm so locked in and clear and discerning of what I'm available for. And so this does circle back to like the importance of getting clear and being like discerning, sacredly discerning around what you are available for, elevating your standards. And when you say no to shit that's not in alignment with you, that's not a hell yes, guess what? You will start to attract things that reflect that new standard. But you might call in first things that are still a reflection of the old identity that you're expanding out of, right? Keep in mind, the 3D reality, there's a lag. The 3D reality represents your past. So when you see it represents the old. It's already created. When you see something come in immediately after you ask for something new and then some other opportunity comes in, it doesn't mean that, oh, that's divinely aligned, you must take it. It means that, oh, this is the old identity filling the gap because you just created a void. There's no vacuum. If you create the spaciousness by letting something go, the universe is going to fill it. But it can often fill it with the identity that you're expanding out of, because the 3D reality is a lag in manifesting what you're moving into, right? There's a little bit of a buffer there, and it represents your past. So everything that's already created represents who you were and what you were believing prior to this, right? And so sometimes the thing that immediately pops in to fill that void, because there is no void, really, there's no vacuum, the universe will immediately pop something in. It's not like, oh, that must be something I need to take or settle for, or you know what I mean? No, it oftentimes is just, I've seen this in so many times with relationships and job opportunities, it represents what you were available for, not what you're expanding into. And it takes a level of discernment and courage to say no to the things that are not a hell yes. Okay, so I think that's about it for now. I'm going to get out of here because I feel like it is about to rain right now. Thank God. I'm so happy about that, because there's been a lot of pollen here the last 2 weeks, and I'm just excited for it to rain to like wash all of that away. But anyways, I'll be back here for another transmission soon. And if you want to work with me, check out the links wherever you're listening to this. DM me on Instagram if you have any questions, and we can take it from there together and see if there's mutual alignment and fit on whatever threshold you're here to cross. So I have different containers for different stages or phases, so to speak, of you fully, authentically moving into your highest timeline. So until next time, I hope this finds you well. Namaste.